at what point, like the nickname Sting, did he come up with that himself?
Is that his birth name?
Is that his? Maybe it is. Maybe his parents came up with it.
I don't know.
I doubt it.
Welcome, everybody, to the Fun Money Podcast. And if you're a repeat listener, welcome back.
And if you're a first-time listener, welcome for the first time.
For the first time.
I'm Josh Hargrove, one of your hosts.
I am Ross Powell, the other.
Good to see you, Ross.
It's
as
good to
always.
see you, Josh.
Yeah. You're wearing. I noticed you're wearing the same
shirt as the last time we recorded.
That's crazy.
A week ago.
That's crazy.
You're wearing exactly the same thing and exactly the same relative camera position.
How
does this work?
You know why? You want to know why that is?
Tell me why.
It's because some people out there
ain't nothing but a heartache.
Are concerned with the environment. Okay. And they think that it's wise to rewear outfits so that you're not using so much electricity and so much water.
Yeah. I thought you were going to get them all there. You're going to cover the environment. You're going to cover social. You're going to cover governance.
Wait,
is this all together?
Does this have some?
This is it.
Yeah.
This is the ESG podcast that you've been waiting for. This is what we're talking about.
Okay.
Way to go.
Well, look,
you worked it right in.
Well, worked it right in. That is what we're talking about today. ESG. If you don't know what ESG is when it comes to investing, well, guess what? We're here to help you. If you do know what ESG is, then you can stop listening. No, I'm kidding. No,
you can send us our $5.
Yeah, I think one question. Let me ask you this, Ross.
What's that?
Are you going to answer the question today? Should I fiddle with this ESG stuff?
I would like to help you have the tools to evaluate the answer. Because as any good accountant, the answer is it depends.
Yes, it depends. Okay, so what are we...
what we're talking about, funds that qualify as ESG funds. And I'm not talking about cash. I'm talking about market funds like... portfolio funds like mutual funds and
exchange traded funds.
Yeah, some ETFs are also ESG based as well. So, and what ESG means is environmental, social, and governance. And so they're supposed to have good check marks on whether or not they're taking care of the environment, whether or not they're taking care of each other socially, and whether or not they're governed well. And so if they have the whatever qualification that is, then they meet the ESG standard. And we'll talk about the standard later, but then they get this certification slapped onto them. We're ESG funds.
Yeah, very good.
Use us if you care about the environment, each other, or how we behave.
Yeah. Okay, very good. So this is in light of a lot of hot topics today, trending news and whatnot. People are going, all right, this is my money that I'm investing in. I want to invest money in those companies that I feel are doing good things. They're good companies. I feel good about them, so therefore I feel good about my investment. That's kind of the idea behind this, this movement, right?
Yeah. So I've got some stats here pulled up that at the end of the fourth quarter in 2021, $143 billion of new capital flowed into ESG funds.
143 billion.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that 81% of these were European-based funds and 13% were U.S.-based. So you say it's a hot topic.
So you have these ESG funds, and you said 40 something billion dollars flowed in. So implying that most of that money is coming from America, home place of dollars, but 80% of those dollars are going into European companies.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the reference is here on those, but they've got the breakdown, and we'll include the article that I'm referencing off site here. But yeah, a lot of new capital flowing into ESG is basically the summary, and they kind of break down of where it's coming from.
Okay.
So you mentioned that it is a hot topic, and this just kind of confirmation statistics that yes, this is a hot topic. This is something people are doing in general.
To the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yes. Yes. So, your initial question, should they be?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to answer. And it's hard to answer for a couple of reasons. So, in general, from what we've seen, the comparison of ESG funds that have been around for a while compared to the open market is that these funds are still being evaluated as to their performance.
Okay.
And to their relative performance. And some of them are doing well and some of them are not doing well. So in the majority of them are underperforming the market. So that's just a short-term statistic because the ESG stamp is relatively short compared to the life of the market. So it's not to say that your overall investment is bad because it was in an ESG company, or it will be good eventually because it's in an ESG company that's looking out for or more looking out for the environment and the people and being well run.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question?
Ask me a question.
You said that these, so they get kind of the stamp of approval. They get these scores, all right? And
Yes.
so you are an ESG, and here are your scores in these different metrics. Who's doing
giving that? I think you can get out and make your own stamp. Is that what you're seeing?
So so there are rating agencies. So you think like
Standard & Poor's and Moody's, and they do bond ratings and
yeah, exactly. So you have these rating agencies. So MSCI apparently is one of the biggest players in this. So so you have basically these these independent organizations that are giving the scores and giving that stamp of approval to say you are ESG and
you've met the standards.
Right, exactly. Okay, so sorry, where were we going? I may have derailed us a bit there. What was your point? Your next point?
Question is, should you be doing it?
Should you? That's right. Should you be doing it?
Should you even be concerned about ESG?
I don't know. Should I?
I would say no, probably not. But
you should not care about the environment, is what I heard you say.
And then, of course, the quick follow-up criticism is that yes, you should know exactly what your money is doing and what kind of companies you own and that kind of stuff. So, one of the classic arguments that I've seen thrown around is that if you knew you were investing in a strip club, you would invest differently.
Yeah.
You would not take those funds and put them there if you are opposed to sex work.
Exactly.
But if you didn't know it, you just invested in ABC company and you didn't know that they owned strip clubs, you were investing in sex work and you didn't know it. And so that's how some of these ESG funds have evolved and gotten these stamps, is so that you can know what companies are doing, if they're doing things that are deemed to be worthy or not.
Okay.
By the rating companies.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing where my mind goes with this is, I think about two things. First of all, it's very subjective. So we talk about Standard & Poor's, for example. They give financial ratings, they give credit ratings. So there's going to be some amount of subjectivity to that, right?
Yes.
To say this is based on what we see here, but you're at least looking at financial mathematical metrics.
They're looking at when they're giving a bond rating, they're looking at the default likelihood.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's as simply as
they're evaluating that 1 point.
Yeah, your obligations are X, $1 billion a year. Your revenue is $1.2 billion per year. You're going to have a difficult time meeting this obligation if something goes awry. Therefore, your rating is going to be, low. So with things like environmental and social and governance, I think even categorically, those can be very subjective categories. Like what exactly is doing the most harm to the environment? So, I mean, my thought on it is, I think the idea behind what we're trying to do here, kind of to your point of, if you knew you're investing in a company that's just wreaking havoc on the environment, would you want to do that? And I mean, for me, it's no, I wouldn't want to. But how do you compare?
How do you know?
How do you compare an oil and gas company and I don't know, something better, a retailer? I don't know
Yeah.
how do you do this type of a comparison by just saying what's your economic or your environmental
Yeah,
impact?
and I think if you bring up a good point as well, is that different industries are better posed to be ESG than others.
Right.
Like energy companies, there should be wild variety of ratings between those who are strip mining mountains and pulling out coal versus those who are building wind turbines.
Yeah.
But again, then there's the argument of how much damage are you doing to the environment by building the turbine? Should you be producing energy? Should we be using energy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
to me, I think like a lot of times with these types of conversations, there are certain things that can make us feel good. So, for example, the analogy that comes to mind for me is if I go to the grocery store and I see something is a organic product, I might feel better about eating that product, even though it's, at least as far as I know, there is no research that suggests that eating organic has health benefits that are superior to eating. What is the antithesis of organic food? It isn't inorganic.
No.
What is it? I don't know.
it's not inorganic.
Yeah. Or like these are
Non-GMO.
cows that weren't treated with pesticides and things of that sort. And it's like, and yet I go get
You treat your cows with pesticides?
yeah.
I'm just kidding. Just trying to trip you up.
So, but I'll get rabies shots and so on for my dogs all day and not give any thought to it, right? Or all these people who are like, wow, I want to eat organic vegetables, and they're spreading fertilizer all over their front yards. So, well, I'm not eating the grass, so it's better. But that's kind of what I'm saying. Is it's
also, I think, are you saying there's an advertising marketing angle on these funds to get the seal of approval for we're an ESG fund? And
I don't know. This is your topic?
I think so. I think that's what you're saying, and I would agree to that.
Yeah.
Is that's part of the nature of it being a hot topic and something that people are interested in, is that it has this marketing nature.
Yeah.
Similar to organic foods. Yes, there's some benefit, but how much of it is more beneficial than the regular funds?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and by the same token, the social element, that obviously can be very, very subjective as well. So you might have a company because there's a difference between, for example, seeking to be diverse and a diverse corporation, which I think is fantastic and something that you definitely should aim for. And there's a difference between that and celebrating certain things that maybe some people might take issue with based on certain morals or something like this. So those aren't the same thing. And so if that latter part, if that affects a score, well, kind of again, like I'm all about supporting companies that seek to be diverse and don't avoid hiring people or supporting people or something like this because of different set of factors, and yet. Yeah, but that's not the same thing maybe as funding or celebrating or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And so, I think that can be sort of this very subjective relative positioning.
It is very, very subjective of what is social beneficial or whatnot. And
right.
Then as you get into governance, it's probably the most subjective of what is good governance and what is not good governance.
Yeah. So I mean, governance. It's not like your U.S. government. It's how the company is managed.
The company governed?
Do you have any idea what metrics? Like, what are some?
I don't.
Here's what they're looking for.
No, I don't. I don't know what exactly they're.
We should have a follow-up on this and break down this a little bit. I think this would be fun.
Okay.
Here's what this exactly means and this exactly means. But I mean, today we just wanted a big picture overview.
It would probably be best served for us to find one of the more popular review organizations.
Yeah.
Use their standard and then compare it to other standards.
So I just got back from a trip with my oldest daughter. and we had a
Welcome back.
Thank you, father-daughter getaway. We went to Southwest Utah, Zion National Park. We hit the Grand Canyon, and just had a. I mean, it was just a blast. One of my most favorite things I've ever done in my life. It was just I loved it. But I had this thought as we were driving through, one of the national parks or forests, at some point, and I'm thinking about this is such a gift. This is such a blessing that in our country we have these public lands that are kept and maintained and taken care of, and so that we can go and enjoy them, right? And literally, like, busloads of people are traveling through Zion National Park and getting to experience these amazing places that God's given us. And I had this thought of, I want to get behind this. Like, I want to, I mean, I bought my membership or whatever, but I want to pump money into these public lands. I want my future generations to enjoy this. So I think that from that standpoint, if there was a way that you could say, not necessarily this isn't damaging the environment. I mean, again, I don't want the environment to get damaged, but are there steps that are being taken to try to improve, maintain, for example, national or public lands? That's something that I was thinking, man, I'd love to get behind that.
And do these organizations that do these funds, do they get a B rating for maintaining the environment, and an A rating for improving the environment, and a C rating for tearing it up?
Yeah.
So I think this is a good introduction to the conversation. But like you said, we'll do a follow up and have some more distinctions on each of the categories and how they're defined.
Okay, so the main idea for today is here's what they are. Here's what ESG means. And then you wanted to talk about should you or shouldn't you, and it sounds like what your main point here is, before you go, hey, ESG, I like the environment and social causes and companies who behave, therefore I'm going to invest in highly rated ESG. Understand what it is that you're getting into, and how these things work. And we don't, so we're going to do a little bit more research and come back with some info for you.
And because of the subjectivity, you want to invest in ESG funds that align with your approval rating and standards for ESG.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
Anything
Great.
else on this?
I think that's it.
You got it? All right.
We'll come back to it.
Well, speaking of ESG, what have you been listening to?
So I've been listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers.
The new album?
No, not the new album.
Oh, no.
Just the hits. They've got This Is the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yep.
Spotify playlist.
Yeah.
And it's one that doesn't get skipped.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's good. That their latest hit song, I can't remember what it's called, on the new album is it sounds great, and it is very Red Hot Chili Peppers-esque.
My friend told me Frusciante is back in the band.
I don't even know who that is.
As the guitarist. Is that right?
Okay.
Avi?
I don't know.
Back? Anyway.
Avi, do you know? No, he doesn't know.
We'll ask him later.
Yeah. If it was Jimi Hendrix, he'd know.
What have you been listening to?
So I've been listening to Sting / The Police.
Oh.
That's
Together?
That's not one band name. It's The Police, and then Sting, who broke off and was solo project, and one of those like you have Phil Collins and Genesis, and you have these bands that like I don't know, was the 80s just like this hot time for these solo artists to spin off of their bands that they got big with and do their
Justin
projects.
Timberlake.
Yeah.
Harry Styles.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so going back and listening to some Police and some Sting, and it's interesting because a lot of times with these bands or in these types of situations, I don't know which song goes with which. Like, I know who's singing it, but is this a Sting song or is this
the Police?
Yeah, and it also got me thinking, at what point, like the nickname Sting, did he come up with that himself?
Is that his birth name?
Maybe it is. Maybe his parents came up with it.
I don't know.
I doubt it.
I don't know enough about Sting or the Police to answer that question.
Yeah, I don't either. Well, that's what I've been listening to, and
great.
sending out an SOS.
You have a
message in a bottle.
Message in a bottle.
Okay, so actually, one of my favorite Sting songs is I think it's called The Russians. The Russians. You know it?
I don't know it.
Yeah, go check. It has just such a really interesting sound. I listened to the song on cassette when I was a kid. We had a Sting cassette, and I remember that song always has this kind of really cool Russian sounding riff to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of my favorite Sting songs.
I think my favorite Sting song is Desert Rose.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That girl that sings that part.
Is it a girl?
I guess it sounds high.
I don't know.
Either the girl or the guy with the high pitched voice, the alto,
Yeah.
whoever he or she may be.
Avi, do you know what a tape is?
Yeah, cassette tape.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it for this episode, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, see ya.